children shouldn't feel obligated to return anything to their parents for raising them. Despite the fact that Filipinos are known for having strong and close family ties, many yet suffer from the invisible pressure that has been put down on their shoulders before they have even started to have a sense of reality and understanding of the word payback they are constantly told. Children are frequently seen as their parents' retirement plan or investment. Children are claimed to be indebted to their parents for providing their living expenses. And children are forced to carry the heavy baggage of responsibilities and expectations of their parents with their small body and fragile bones as they grow up. But in fact, children do not owe their parents anything, but rather, parents owe their children everything. We have been adhering to family cultures that have been handed down from our ancestors over the generations. These have been the cultural standard in every Filipino household for so long that parents refuse to break from them even when they are clearly flawed, and continue to apply their practices to their kids. When it comes to character, Filipinos are known for plenty of lovely traits, such as hospitality, resilience, and helping one another in times of need. But what about beyond that? What about the issues that occur behind closed doors and within families? It might be a hard pill to swallow, but it is also a fact that some of our cultural norms are toxic. Younger generations are expected to uphold the same beliefs, traditions, and family cultures as older generations do. First and foremost, children did not ask to be born. No one here today who is listening to me right now asked to be born. They did not ask to be born, yet they were brought into this world by their mother without their approval. We all know how important consent is. It is a commonly discussed subject in today's online forums, particularly when it comes to discussions of romantic relationships. Consent is the agreement to do something, or the permission for something to happen. However, how can an unborn child, a fetus who has not yet developed arms, hands, fingers, feet, or toes, give consent whether they want to be born or not? The capability to make the decision of whether to give the baby a chance to see the flicker of lights and hear the faintness of whispers or not is given to the hands of the parents. We had no choice but to be born into this world. We had no choice but to accept the parents we were given. The child had neither say nor influence over his or her parents' decision to procreate. It was something parents chose to do despite being fully aware of implications of having a child. Second, parent is the process of encouraging and nurturing a child's physical, emotional, social, and intellectual growth from infancy to adulthood. When a couple decides to keep a kid, whether it was created voluntarily or inadvertently, they take on a range of obligations and responsibilities from the time the child is born until they are an adult. A child does not owe their parents anything for doing something which they ought to. It is, without a doubt, a parent's obligation. It is their obligation to provide their child a comfortable and safe place that they can call home. Not only that, but it is also their obligation to buy their child clothes that will make them express themselves more. It is their obligation to fill their child's plate with delicious meals. It is their obligation to stand behind their child and hold their small hands as they try to walk with their own tiny feet. It is their obligation to teach them what is right and wrong. It is their obligation to send them to school. It is their obligation to guide them until they are able to choose a path they want to take for themselves. Furthermore, it is the parent's obligation to shower their child with love, care, and affection without expecting anything in return. Third, toxic parents hold their sacrifices over their children's head. They don't see their children as human of their own but as possessions to be possessed. They want them to live in accordance with their values. They want them to behave and form in accordance with their expectations. Additionally, they want them to succumb to social pressure to think, feel, or act in a certain way. Some people pass their dreams onto their offspring so that they can live the life they had in mind in the past. Some force their kids to take a college program that isn't even their choice just because they were the one who pays the school's tuition. They fail to acknowledge the fact that children are independent human beings with their own values and aspirations. In their vessels may flow the same blood, but they have their own mind and heart that is capable of choosing and thinking the things they want. Their life is their own, and even their parents shouldn't dictate how they want to live their life. Nothing is the same for any of us. We are not meant to achieve the unfulfilled desires of our parents. They have created a new life that is meant to be lived and explored. We are entitled to a life of freedom and decision making as individuals. We must be able to think, feel, and act without excessively relying on others to give us directions. In conclusion, children shouldn't feel obligated to return anything to their parents for raising them. It is a parent's duty to take care of their child. All of those things were choices that they consciously made as adults who had the power to do differently. But they didn't. Our parents chose to have us. They chose to keep us. They chose to give us the quality of life that they chose to give us. We need to dismantle the belief that children owe parents anything. A person should not ever be created to be of specific service to any other person. The children's willingness to repay their parents comes as a byproduct of the love and care they give, not out of the heavy sense of duty. In other words, children would give back to their parents because they chose to or wanted to, not because they are obligated to.